next. Now, secondary ticket agents who help people to use the internet to sell on tickets are engaging in an unfair practice which makes no contribution to the concerts and events they profit from. That's one conclusion of a report by MPs on the Culture, Media and Sport Committee, who found that some secondary sellers do indulge in dubious and suspect practices, some of them. The concert promoter Harvey Goldsmith believes the secondary agents are little better than touts. He wants the sale of tickets on the internet banned.
This is not a commodity business. We are not trading widgets. We're not buying barrels of oil. We're selling a ticket for a time, date, seat, block and a row number if it's seated, or an area if it's standing, for people to go and see and be entertained by their heroes. Full stop. Isn't it time this government actually woke up and decided once and for all that they're going to give the public in the UK a proper service rather than allow this disservice to take place?
Well, they are allowing it to take place. In fact, the MPs say that a voluntary code of conduct is infinitely preferable to banning it, but they also think changes are needed. What do the secondary agents think? Eric Baker is the boss of the online ticket site Viagogo. You've met Harvey Goldsmith, have you?
On numerous occasions.
Do you ever clash?
Well, you know, Harvey's a very colorful guy. He's got strong opinions. They're not always right, but I think his motto is not always right, but never in doubt.
What do you think of the MPs saying that the business that you're in is unfair?
Well, I think that the report actually made a distinction between sort of shady online touts and people who are selling fraudulent tickets and exchange sites that are letting fans exchange tickets with other fans like Viagogo. I think the real problem is you have certain operators out there who are not protecting fans and consumers, and those people definitely need to be shut down.
I mean, the amount of profit that people can make on sites like yours, you're talking about Led Zepp tickets selling for thousands of pounds. You know, tickets for the rugby, talking about hundreds and hundreds of pounds, way more than their face value, and it doesn't get back into the industry. It doesn't get back into entertainment.
Well, you bring up an interesting point on price, and actually what people do is they'll selectively pick a couple tickets that do go for a high price, but actually last year on Viagogo, over half of the tickets sold for face value or less. So actually it's the exception, not the rule, for these extreme prices that go on.
If you are the exception, not the rule, though, you'll want tighter rules, won't you?
I'm sorry?
If it's true that your business is the exception to these bad practices that go on, and that obviously you don't engage in them, then aren't you going to want tighter regulation to weed out the bad ones?
Well, I think what happens is the market will regulate, and I think what the committee said is that obviously what we have at Viagogo is a guarantee on every transaction that when a buyer buys a ticket from another person, they're going to get a real ticket on time, be able to go to the event. I think, as you point out, the problem is with many other operators or street touts or some of these agents who basically don't provide that code of conduct. But what's happening is that consumers are very smart people. They're realizing that when they have a choice in the marketplace, they'll actually use a site like Viagogo where there's a guarantee and abandon those people who have shady dealings.
But, you know, we had this text in saying, what's the difference between, you know, Sainsbury's buying a bottle of whiskey for £5 and selling it on for £15? There is a difference, isn't there? You couldn't have just a free market in tickets.
Well, I think there's a key thing. I think the Sainsbury example, you're talking about a business. What we're talking about are genuine fans who buy tickets who are trying to sell them on because they can't use them. So, for example, on Viagogo last year, 97% of people who sold tickets sold fewer than 10 tickets in the past year. Now, if you're a professional tout and you're only selling 10 tickets, it might be time to look for another area of work.
Eric Baker from Viagogo, thank you very much for that.